We are at the SAii Lagoon, Maldives, part of the Hilton's Curio Collection.
We're super excited to tell you all about our stay and everything you need to know before you book. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Max.
I'm Marin.
And we're Voyager Group. We post weekly videos with travel tips, hotel reviews, and videos from some of our favorite destinations around the world. So if you don't already, consider subscribing. And of course, if you like this video and you find the content useful, make sure to give us a thumbs up. It really helps our channel out and helps us get more exposure to make more videos just like this. So that brings us to our review. Our first category is location.
Location, we rate 4.5 stars. We're only about 20 minutes from Malé here, and we're part of a grand complex called Crossroads. It's an insanely cool new concept here in the Maldives.
If you've seen our other video about Hard Rock, you'll know that the location is surprisingly amazing. It's only 20 minutes from Malé, or 15 depending on which way you enter the property, but it's a gorgeous blue lagoon between 3 islands where you have 2 hotels and an entire marina. The location is both convenient, but also has that picturesque Maldives look to it, and you're on a beautiful white sand beach with crystal blue water.
On the Hard Rock side, there were rooms that were facing Malé, the capital city here in the Maldives. On the SAii Lagoon side, none of the water bungalows or beach villas are actually facing directly towards Malé.
One thing that's really interesting about the water villas is that they're all built only on one side. So if you're worried about some of the sound from the Hard Rock, it's not exactly an issue because all of the water villas actually face away from the Hard Rock side and look out at the ocean with really only a couple islands in the distance, but none of them have bright lights or are obtrusive in any way.
If you've been here before, you might be familiar with the waiting that comes with seaplanes and transfers within the country. However, this is super convenient. It's a speedboat away, so that makes the location pretty amazing.
One downside of the location is because parts of this island are man-made, there is a little bit more sand movement that happens in the water. So at certain areas of the property, the water is a little less clear. Out here on the water villas though, the water is crystal clear and very similar to the water that was right outside of the Hard Rock, but with a little bit more opportunity to snorkel because you can get quickly to the edge of the reef into open water. Our second category is lobby and check-in.
Lobby and check-in, we rate 4 stars. The reception for the Hard Rock and SAii Lagoon are the same. You're greeted at the airport at the check-in counter for Crossroads as the property, and you come through the marina on the speedboat. Once you get to the hotel, it's a very luxurious experience.
Now, while we did not come from Malé Airport, we actually transferred directly from the Hard Rock. We did inquire, and similar to Hard Rock, they do not have a lounge or any type of waiting facilities at the airport, so it's going to be the same arrival experience that you have at Hard Rock. One difference is that Hard Rock has their own pavilion that they go to if it's just Hard Rock people on the boat, whereas if it's Hard Rock and SAii Lagoon people, they do arrive at the marina. The marina is actually a tad bit shorter than going straight to the Hard Rock, so it's kind of a better arrival situation in general.
And when you show up to the property in the lobby, you're greeted with a delicious lavender tea, a cold cloth, and a very gorgeous lobby. SAii Lagoon is a smaller hotel feel. The lobby is a central area of the entire hotel, so right near the lobby you'll find the main restaurant as well as the pool and the bar. One of the coolest parts about check-in was they did something very unusual that we haven't experienced before. After you check into the hotel, you're taken to a little area, it almost looks like a bar, where you can mix your own scent for your bath products. So they call it Mix It Yourself, and you have a selection of options. You can stick with the base product that they have in the room, which is kind of a rosemary peppermint scent, or you can choose your own. We chose jasmine, and that was a really cool, fun way to check into the hotel.
One thing that's a little confusing is that some guests on property get orange and yellow bracelets that are supposed to indicate that you're part of the all-inclusive package. Some of them even have room cards that are included inside the actual bracelet. However, it was a bit confusing because not everybody had those, even people that were on the all-inclusive package. Some had room keys built in, some did not have room keys built in. We didn't have any bracelet, even though we were also on the all-inclusive package, so there were a little bit of inconsistencies around that check-in experience. Our third category is rooms.
Rooms we rate 4 stars. Similar to Hard Rock, this is a new concept for the Maldives, and there are not many hotels that have this kind of structure. The SAii Lagoon property is made up of 2-story buildings, beach villas that are actually 2 beach villas combined into one building, as well as overwater bungalows. None of the rooms, with the exception of one room category, which is a 2-bedroom overwater bungalow, currently have pools. However, they are already working on beach pool villas, as well as the addition of water pool villas coming next year.
If you want to learn more about the room types and the room categories available here at SAii Lagoon, make sure to check out the video that we've put together. It's a full room tour of all of the available room types here on property that we've linked right up here in the top corner.
We are currently in the overwater bungalow, which is the 2nd highest room type here on property. lobby. It is absolutely beautiful. Technically, the room is slightly larger than the Hard Rock rooms. However, it feels very much the same. There's so much light and space in this room. It's been a really nice place to hang out.
It's also a completely different aesthetic here on property. The rooms have this cool, funky vibe that's very much Curio Collection. All of it's very eclectic. There's a lot of funky design in here, cool colors and mixes, and they've also incorporated a lot of traditional Maldivian style in a non-traditional way, in the way that they've built the huts and that they've designed the accents and other things throughout the property.
All of the rooms are going to be very similar aesthetic with different decor and style elements. A local artist did all of the art, so it makes a really nice eclectic mix in all of the rooms, even the base level rooms.
The bathrooms are really nice here as well in all the room types. Here in the water villa, we have a beautiful tub outside on the balcony overlooking the water with a net and a couple beach chairs. It's a really pretty space to spend the day.
And as Max mentioned, the bungalows are facing away from the Hard Rock Hotel, so we don't have any of the noise that you would have on the other side.
Now, while you don't have any of the noise and they all do face out towards the ocean, one somewhat negative aspect of these rooms is there is a little bit of a privacy issue. There's a lot of windows, which is fantastic because you have a lot of natural light, but as you open the curtains on some of those windows, they do actually expose the room to certain other villas and other angles, so there is kind of a limit on privacy when you're on your balcony or in your room if you have all the blinds open. Obviously, that's quickly fixed if you close your blinds, but if you're comparing it to some other hotels that might have more private water villas, it's just something to consider.
If you're looking for the most private room type, you'll find that in the beach villa. Despite the fact that they are connected to another villa, they are extremely private. There's a lot of foliage, and you're going to find the best experience there in terms of privacy.
Our fourth category is service.
Service, we rate 4 stars. Overall, we absolutely adore the staff here. So many of the staff are just the kindest, most patient people.
We've had so many great staff interactions here. Everyone is really excited about working at this property. And similar to Hard Rock, there's really this vibe that people enjoy working here at this Crossroads complex. It makes it a lot easier as an employee to be able to have close proximity to Male, where you can leave if you need to, and you can also go to the actual Crossroads shops and restaurants, and you're not stuck necessarily on the island. And because of that, we've noticed that people have a little bit of a different attitude, and that's kind of nice to see because it's definitely a different concept here in the Maldives than some of the other kind of one island, one resort concepts where people are often away from families for very extended periods.
This is generally a 4-star hotel, so along with it does come 4-star service. You're not going to find things like butlers here. That being said, there is a mobile app and you can chat with the front desk, which is a really nice feature since you don't have butler service. An amazing part of the service here is that you can actually order food and drinks at the beach, even though it's not technically part of the restaurant. That's just a really nice touch that we appreciated here.
There were certainly some inconsistencies in service in terms of slow service, particularly at busy times like breakfast, and a little bit of confusion around housekeeping as to whether or not there was turned down or wasn't turned down, but in general, we had a really great service experience. Our 5th category is dining.
Dining, we rate 4 stars. There are so many options both on SAii Lagoon, Crossroads, and the Hard Rock Complex that all guests have access to. It makes for a really fun, adventurous vacation, even if you're staying for more than a week or 2 weeks.
Now, while as a guest, you do have access to all of the different facilities, both at the Crossroads Marina complex as well as the Hard Rock, the 2 restaurants that they have on SAii Lagoon, Miss Olive Oil and Mr. Tom Yum, were some of the best cuisine that we've had across all of the different restaurants.
And the restaurant outlets are both romantic, beautiful, and have a really nice setting.
It's a much more relaxing setup than the Hard Rock side. If you've watched our other review about the Hard Rock and Crossroads, you'll know that there's so many different food outlets here. They have about 12 that are available to guests right now, and if you're on an all-inclusive plan, you have 8 that are included in your all-inclusive plan, where you can go both to Hard Rock and here and get access to all of those different outlets. There's also a plan to add many more restaurants to the marina area, so you're going to be able to access so many different food types here on property. Everything from kebab and curry with authentic Indian food to King Cow, which is a great Thai place. They have Chinese food. They have Mr. Tom Yum here on property, which is a mix of Thai and Italian fusion, which was a great experience and a great location.
One thing we would advise is to definitely take a look at the meal plans. As with most places in the Maldives, here a little bit less so. Meals are expensive, so if you are someone who eats breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or even just breakfast and dinner, do check out the rates for the packages on Hilton's website because you can end up saving quite a bit of money depending on how much you eat or drink every day.
I would say offhand with the meal plans, what it roughly seems like is if you're somebody that's gonna eat small meals with about 1 to 2-ish drinks a day, then the meal plan kind of evens out and might not necessarily be a great deal. But if you're planning on drinking more and eating more, but largely drinking because that's where a lot of the costs are, if you're planning on eating more, you can investigate some of the meal plans that don't include alcohol, but obviously if you are planning on drinking more, that all-inclusive all-inclusive plan actually can come out to be a pretty good deal.
To put it this way, an Aperol Spritz here is $14, and we found out it was included on the all-inclusive, and that is all we've been drinking. Our favorite cocktail. Breakfast is included in most rates, particularly if you're booking on Hilton's site directly, so that is something to keep in mind if you are looking at meal plans.
Both here and Hard Rock, I would say breakfast is the weakest meal of the day. They do have a variety of options, but both your breakfast options at Sessions and here on the SAii Lagoon side over at the beach club that's part of the marina, both of those are going to be buffet options, and while you can get cooked omelets and doses and other things, I would say that the food is a little bit more inconsistent at those outlets than it is at some of the other outlets where we had fantastic food. Our sixth category is facilities.
Facilities we rate 4.5 stars. Overall, SAii Lagoon has everything you need for a great stay. Add to it everything at Hard Rock and the marina.
Between the two properties, they have two different spas. SAii Lagoon has a spa here called Len, which is actually part of the marina. You can get an amazing spa experience there. Everything from the nail salon to couples massages. We had an amazing couples massage in a beautiful room overlooking the water. And in general, there's tons of other activities and experiences that you can have here on property.
There are activities ranging from aerial arts to morning and evening yoga. There's the dive center that runs all of the tours for the entire complex. I mean, there really is something for everyone, whether or not you want to be bored or really adventurous.
I would say also on the SAii Lagoon side, if you're interested in snorkeling, the snorkeling is a little bit better than it is on the Hard Rock side, and in general, it does seem like people come over to this side to snorkel, so there's a little bit better access on this side, as well as having access to the beach club area, which is not included in the all-inclusive meal plans, but it's just a beautiful area to go. You do have access to that, obviously, if you're on the Hard Rock side as well, but in terms of proximity, it's a lot closer to the SAii Lagoon side to be able to go and hang out over there. Although just hanging out at the regular pool on the SAii Lagoon side and their beach chairs, which is included in the all-inclusive, is pretty much the same and just as gorgeous.
I will say the SAii Lagoon side feels a little bit more geared towards the adults than it does for families. The Hard Rock side is definitely more of the family resort. We didn't see as many kids. The pool area is a little bit more mature looking in terms of the infinity pool and the massive bar that's there, which made for a really pleasant experience for us, but just something to keep in mind for families. SAii Lagoon side has a totally different vibe from Hard Rock. You're gonna find more jazz music playing, live music that is a little bit more chill.
While they still do have entertainment, that entertainment is a little bit more laid back, and they rely a lot on your ability to be able to go over the Hard Rock if you're looking for something that's a little bit more lively.
We absolutely love the fact that you can just venture out into the marina or over to Hard Rock if you're looking for a little bit something extra or different, or if you're staying for a longer period of time.
There are some inconsistencies on these properties. They are both very big, and one thing I noticed was that bicycles both on the SAii Lagoon side and the Hard Rock side are kind of hard to come by, and you don't have dedicated bicycles for your room. That would be something in the future that hopefully they could add.
Also, the spa is located on the other side of the marina, so it is a bit of a hike. We would recommend taking a buggy if you are heading to the spa.
The last thing to mention is right now during this time, there are restrictions because of COVID, which has limited some of the availability of things to happen in the marina. Some of the shops have shut down, but after COVID, they're expecting those shops to reopen, as well as vendors that'll come from Male to be able to attend those events. So you'll have local vendors and shops where you can go and you can kind of get more of a street food and local vibe from a bunch of different vendors, which is something that you really don't have access to anywhere else in the Maldives. Our seventh and final category, style.
Style we rate 4.5 stars. I don't know what I was expecting coming to this property, but it was really fun. The vibe is really cool. The rooms are very quirky, but it makes it just really interesting.
If you've stayed at a Hilton Curio Collection before, you'll know that the vibe is eclectic and funky and has a lot of very unique decor. And this hotel is true to that Curio Collection. They have so many funky things in this room, from murals and paintings to really cool artwork and fabrics that they have across the bed, the headboard, the lamps, the way everything is kind of tied together, kind of incorporates a lot of beachy colors, but also has kind of some elements of traditional Maldivian where they've kind of taken it an extra step.
And SAii, in fact, means the waves that ripple on the edge of the water where the sand kind of makes that flowy pattern. That is what the word SAii means. So and there are no straight lines on this property. Every walkway, every piece of decor, everything has kind of a flowing nature to it, which they've really taken to its fullest extent.
There are so many playful elements of decor and great mixes of colors and contrast that you wouldn't necessarily find next to each other, but I think it just kind of works here.
It does. And one thing we really love about the property and appreciate is their focus on local art. They did hire a local artist to paint all of the artwork in the rooms and across the property, which just adds another touch of that Maldivian element. Some of it's very playful and fun and historical and political at the same time, and it's just a really nice way to experience a little bit extra of the Maldives.
Now, while both the Hard Rock and SAii Lagoon have their own cool, unique styles, I would say that the Hard Rock is a little bit more modern versus this has a little bit more of a classic contemporary style, but obviously with pops of color and really unique elements that they've thrown in that completely throw off that kind of classic style.
They still maintain the same modern amenities that you'd find at the Hard Rock as well, with the master switches and everything like that, but it is a really nice take on a classic style. You will also notice our robes that we are conducting this hotel review in. These are the coolest robes we've seen in a hotel in a long time. Very fun colors and also true to the SAii Lagoon brand. Just like with the toilets, they took it a step ahead and covered all of their bases. Overall, we rate this property 4.3 stars. We've had an amazing experience here at SAii Lagoon. I had no idea what we were walking into or what to expect, and it really blew our minds.
Now, while the rating is the exact same as the Hard Rock, it was difficult for us to come to these numbers because the properties do actually vary quite a bit. If you're on one side versus the other side, there are certain things that are different. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more quiet and romantic, I would say that the SAii Lagoon side is probably your pick, versus if you're looking for a little bit more fun and excitement and something to do with the kids, where the kids have lots of activities, I would say the Hard Rock is a little better. But of course, you don't have to choose, because either way, you can stay at one hotel and you have full access to the amenities and facilities of the other hotel. There really isn't a bad choice here at Crossroads.
And the last thing we'll say about that is Hilton members do have access to special rates and discounts as well as points bookings. In regards to the points bookings, their cash rates typically tend to be better, so be sure to check those out before you use your points.
And finally, our hopefully temporary COVID safety rating.
The COVID safety rating does not factor into the overall rating for the properties. That being said, the COVID safety rating for the SAii Lagoon property is 4 stars.
We rated it slightly higher than the Hard Rock Hotel. As this is Hilton managed, they have a lot of the Hilton clean stay policies that have been instituted here. They have a lot more signage, they have a lot more hand sanitizer available throughout the property, and in general, we did notice that the staff was much more consistent about wearing their masks.
They do not have specific PCR testing requirements to access the properties. They solely rely on people coming into Malé having taken a PCR test before departure. So that means that if you are transferring hotels or moving around in the Maldives, there is no requirement technically for guests to get a PCR test between hotels. So that is something to keep in mind.
If you are a nervous traveler, it's a good thing to know that the policies here are a little bit different. They do meet the local requirements, but there might be certain areas like breakfast in particular, which is an indoor dining experience. You can eat outdoors, but that seating is limited and it's outside of the air conditioning. Things are a little bit more crowded. You are at a buffet and there is a lot more sharing of space going on there than any other place on property. Do not be ashamed to wear your mask if it makes you feel comfortable. We wear ours all the time and people look at us strange, and it just is what it is.
There is no shame in the mask game. So if you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up.
And of course, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe. We're posting many more videos coming up from the Maldives, so turn on notifications so that you'll be updated when we post that content.
And be sure to follow our adventures on Instagram at Voyager Guru to see photos and video of our trip, as well as our daily tips on TikTok at Voyager Guru.
And if you haven't already, if you're looking at booking a trip here to the Maldives, be sure to visit our website at voyagerguru.com, where we have destination guides for every location, including the Maldives, where we'll tell you about all the hotels that we've stayed at and reviewed, as well as some of the best experiences and tips around seasonality and booking.
And as always, I'm Marin.
And I'm Max.
And we're Voyager Guru. See you out there.